name is Lizelle from Lizelle Loves Books, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I'm just a girl who likes reading romance, fantasy romance, paranormal romance, any kind of genre of romance in general. And I also happen to have cerebral palsy, and it would mean the world to me if you would subscribe to my channel. Happy Monday! I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today's video is going to be a recent reads video. I'm going to talk about all the books that I have read recently. I read The Prince of Prohibition because B from Mama Needs to Read More Romance, because she's a mix between Agatha and The Great Gatsby. And if you know me and you have been on my channel before, anything compared to Agatha, I will read. This is a historical romance fantasy book, and it's set during the 1900s and the 1920s, Great Gatsby era, and we follow Adeline, who has seen like magical creatures ever since she was younger, and her brother and her father like try to protect her, keep her secluded. They live in Georgia, but an accident happens and her dad dies, and her brother Thomas moves them to New York, and there she meets Jack, who is a gangster who turned out to be a fey prince. And it turns out what Adeline sees when she was younger, like till now, like all these magical creatures that her brother and her father tried to protect her from, turns out it wasn't her imagination. Everything she saw throughout her life is real. It's a fated mates thing. And I didn't get the Agatha reference until like 25% into the end of the book, but I really liked it. If you like historical romance and fantasy romance, I suggest giving this book a try. And thank you, B, for the recommendation. Next, I am gonna talk about the new releases I've read recently. It's Where We Started by Ashley Munoz. It's a small town biker romance. It's a new series, and we follow the heroine who returns to her hometown because her dad has died, and her dad was the president of the motorcycle club in town. She left town because she didn't want anything to do with the motorcycle club because some bad stuff happened to her. Like a rival club kidnapped her, and she broke up with her first love because she told him that she doesn't want anything to do with the motorcycle club, and he knew how much she hated her dad's motorcycle club, but he joined the motorcycle club anyways. When she returned, she finds out that he is the motorcycle club president, but her dad left the motorcycle club to her and not the president, so So she's debating whether to keep the motorcycle club or just sell it. And it's her second chance romance with her first love, but they still have the same problems when they were younger. She still doesn't want to be part of his motorcycle club, and he doesn't want to leave the motorcycle club, and it goes back from past to present, and I really liked it. If you like Stephanie Perry's Still King series, her motorcycle club series, I think you will like this one. The only difference is the motorcycle club in this one is still active, and Stephanie Perry's motorcycle club is not active anymore. Love Redesign by Lauren Asher, and I really love this book. I highly recommend the audiobook. We follow Julian and Delilah. Julian and Delilah's mother are best friends, and growing up, so they're always around each other, but they were always like rivals. It isn't until college that they start feeling something toward each other. And Julian was going to confess to Delilah his feelings for her, but then tragedy happened, and his dad. I keep saying Delilah, but I think the audiobook says the heroine's name is Dahlia. Delilah away, and Delilah ends up dating Julian's college roommate, and fast forward years later when Delilah's back in town from her broken engagement too, and Julian is a billionaire land developer, construction worker. He has a $1 billion company, but he never left town. Delilah is the one who left. And they have to renovate this house together because his mom and her mom begged Julian to be nice to her, and it's their second chance romance. It's a second chance at a first chance, and I highly recommend the audiobook because they're Spanish speaking characters, and there is a lot of Spanish, and Lauren Asher picked Spanish speaking narrators, and it's duet narration, and the audiobook was so good. It's the always been you trope. Julian has always loved Delilah, but he was so afraid to say anything. He was so hurt that she moved on with his best friend, and he couldn't deal with the grief about his dad, but Julian is going to shoot his shot, and I really liked it. Also, I really loved the family and the side characters. It was just so good. Another new release, and it's by a debut author. It's a hockey romance. It's called Unsteady, and we follow Reese and Sadie. They go to the same high school. Reese got injured during one of the hockey games, and after it's been a couple months, and after that, Reese is experiencing panic attacks, and they meet when Sadie sees Reese having said panic attacks. Times they meet every time through coincidence. Every time Reese has a panic attack, Sadie is there to help him get through it. And she knows what it's like for Reese because Sadie suffers panic attacks herself. She is a figure skater. He is a hockey player. And Sadie is trying to get custody of her two younger brothers because her dad is never around. He's always drunk. And I just loved Reese and Sadie's romance. I loved how they were there for each other. I loved how they both relied on music to help them get through their panic attacks. And I love Reese's parents, how they took Sadie and her brothers in with open arms. I just really love this book. If you're looking for a debut author and a new hockey romance, please check Unsteady out. Also, I noticed Melissa from Book Bar on Goodreads also read this book and she gave it 5 stars. It's Hoarded by the Dragon by Lillian Lark. I love Lillian Lark's monster romances, and we follow the heroine who, as a favor to one of her friends, he tells her to steal a possession from someone, so she breaks into someone's house, but she gets caught stealing said possession, and that man happens to be a dragon shifter, and he was going to call the counselor on her, but she notices that the dragon is going through heats, so she was like, instead of calling the magical council, I'll help you through your heating period. So they have steamy times together, and then she leaves. But her best friend, like a few days later, her best friend, who's a witch, tells her that she's pregnant. So she goes back to the dragon, the hero, whose name is Kalos. She goes back to Kalos and tells Kalos that she is pregnant. And he's like, that's impossible. Oh, I can only get my fated mate pregnant, and my fated mate died. Well, it is because I'm having symptoms, and it's a dragon, and it's yours. And so Kalos and the heroine live together because he has to help her through her pregnancy because she's carrying a dragon, and what happened is the dragon is taking all of her body heat, and so Kalos needs to be there to make sure she stays warm, and it's their romance, and I really liked it. I read this because of Christy from Christy Reads a Lot and Jen from the Book Refuge. This is surprisingly one of the angstiest monster romance I have ever read because they're friends first, and the heroine really likes Callius, but he refuses to believe that he could have another fated mate, and it's their romance. The last book I'm going to talk about is When Fate Breaks. It's about Annie, who's getting married, who has this new house, and there is a beautiful, like, lush garden area, like a topiary area, and all of a sudden she calls her ex-boyfriend because she knows her ex-boyfriend, like almost ex-boyfriend. She knows her ex-boyfriend is really into gardening, and they haven't seen each other in 6 years. And so she hires her ex-boyfriend to fix up her garden, and she didn't think Blake was going to say yes to her at first, and so he does, and he flies back to her house to fix up her garden, and we get flashbacks of their romance from the past to see what went wrong with them in the first place, why their almost romantic relationship fizzled out, like what happened to make their fate break, essentially. And I really liked it. It was another second chance romance, and I was bawling by the end of this book. So it was really great. Blake is such a cinnamon roll hero, and I really loved it. All these books can be found on Kindle Unlimited. Those are all the books that I read for my recent reads video. Please let me know if you have read any of these books. I would love to know. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. That would mean the world to me. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Bye.